Oh, you figured it out.
I
You
did.
figured out how to make these Okay, I was wondering. I was like, don't we have to go to YouTube and everything?
No, no, no.
Oh,
It was,
fancy. All right.
yeah.
Yeah.
So our word for this week was mens rea.
Mhm.
Um, what is mens rea means? What did you find?
So when I
What did you find out?
so when I looked it up and I was studying about it, it's there has to be a physical aspect to a crime and a mental aspect. Like they actually have to have committed the crime,
Yeah,
but then they also have to have like thought about the crime. They
yeah,
have to have any mental processes had to go into committing the crime.
yes,
So it's basically to prevent people who are like mentally handicapped, who can't be held accountable. Um, and so you have to prove that they actually intended to do what they've done.
yeah.
Is what I found. What about you?
I felt the same thing, and it is not like it is an accident,
Right.
or anything like that. It's not like a police or you drive in a car and you're just doing an accident of that happens. You have to purposely plan out, like you said, to um, to make it a man's rea. And the words is mean guilty mind.
Mhm.
It's a Latin word which is mean guilty mind. Now I looked it up and I found also that now other some places are now changing a little bit of the meaning of the mens rea, interpreted in different ways. Like Australia, they do it fault elements or mental and M elements, and so some places are interpret the words a little bit different, um, but the main meaning is guilty mind.
Mhm.
When you have a guilty mind, that means you need to have plan out the things. It's just not an accident.
Right. And I think, like kind of like you mentioned, there needs to be a mental aspect of it because, that's what separates, manslaughter. It's where you kill somebody but by accident. Let's say you're driving your car and it
Yeah,
starts sliding on ice and you hit somebody, like that's not your fault. You didn't mean to do that, but you still killed
no,
somebody. But it's
yeah,
not like you murdered them either. So, murder is when you intend to kill somebody,
yeah. Now,
deciding if they have the guilty mind or not, I guess.
but I don't. I wonder though if it's mental ill, um, even though fall into. I mean, they are planning it and things like that, but they are not always clear-minded
Right.
because of a mental illness. Um, in one way, if that they are also falling into the mens rea, or because some people have been sent to mental hospital and things like that. So
Yeah, because there's some people that are perfectly fine, but they'll be like, "Oh no, I was insane," and then they'll try to get
yeah,
off on an insanity plea. So
yeah,
that's interesting. I wonder how far that leniency goes.
yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
Um, that's I didn't find more information about because kind of interesting of knowing a little bit more about that.
Yeah.
Um, but in what case, what did you find for article that kind of fall into this category?
So for my article, I found the article is titled "Man Pleads Guilty to Role in Bogus Federal Tax Return Scheme." And so
Uh,
what he was doing, let me see if I can just take snippets from the article really quick here. It says that he and others obtained stolen personal identifying information and filed fraudulent tax returns, fraudulent federal tax returns. Castillo also admitted that he converted checks to cash or other proceeds after receiving the funds for his own gain. And so, obviously, if he says he committed the crime, that's a guilty mind right there.
yeah,
He's obviously understands what he's done. And also, that to be able to do that requires a certain amount of skill. Like you can't just know how to do that. You have to learn how to commit that kind of fraud. And so that could be a guilty mind in of its own, because you can't just accidentally commit tax fraud, to that level.
No.
And so I think that in and of itself almost counts on its own as a guilty mind.
Yeah.
Because he had the intent.
Yeah.
And so he committed to it, and I'm assuming he's in prison right now. Let me see. He caused losses of nearly $3 million to the U.S. Treasury, and it says that he is awaiting sentencing.
Yeah.
So that's what I got. What about you?
Okay, so I started off and I found this article about Dylan Roof that went in and he killed 9 black people in the church. And they asked him if he was, if he's hated black people, and he really didn't say that. But what I found that he pleaded guilty, even though he's saying that he did it. But that was one my. But the other one I found was guilty to spoofing, um, and it is a guy that manipulating the trading. So that means that he crashed the stock market in 2010.
Yep.
And so he pleaded guilty in this case. So he knows that he's guilty, and he admitting that he did it, and he did it on purpose. And he had even a program then that manipulated the stock market to look better than it was. And in that way, he was bluffing the whole thing.
Yeah.
So he was sentenced about 20 years in prison. He's from London, lives in London.
Huh.
But he was flown here to Chicago to go to court for it. And he's on free foot right now, but he will be, sentenced for 20 years. So we're talking about 38 million, believe that he cost.
38 million? Wow.
Oh, he say Sarah admitted that he made at least 12.8 million in illicit gains through his trading.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, yeah. But
That's crazy.
also to name the name of it, which was said, uh, guilty to spoofing, was the article's name, and the writer was Aruna Visvanathan, and it was written in November 10th, 2016. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Cool. Yeah, mine was just today. It was updated today,
Okay.
so pretty recent. A
Yeah.
lot of guilty minds out there.
Yeah.
So, I think we covered that pretty good. So we also have a presentation that we're supposed to be preparing.
Okay.
Have you seen anything about that? I guess it's the Bette Midler case.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about you with you last week. I have not looked too much into it. When is it due? Do you remember?
I am under the impression that it might be due early Monday morning. So tomorrow would really be the only time we could have to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, I have no idea how extensive it is. I don't know if it's a very long thing. Sounds like it could be.
Okay, so let's look into it tomorrow, and best time probably for me to sit down and go through it is when my daughter's taking a nap, and that will be 12, between 12 and 2 your time.
Okay. 12 o'clock is fine for me on Saturday.
Okay, so
In between then.
let's do that. And
Sounds good. I'll go ahead and I will I'll go ahead and do the template. If you want to submit this video online, I'll go ahead and write a quiz question and I'll write up the template for it and send it in. And hopefully we still get a good grade on this.
Yeah, yeah, it is what it is. I mean, like I said earlier, I've been sick all week, and my
Yeah,
it's I couldn't do it earlier. I'm trying to, but it didn't work out the way I wanted to. So
it's all good. It's all good.
yeah,
Okay, well, sounds good. Let's do
okay,
it then.
okay.
All
Talk to you
right.
tomorrow.
Talk to you
Okay,
tomorrow. Bye.
bye bye.